Is this 40? This is 40, right? On today's show, the guys talk about gamification, game-based learning, and why the difference matters. We'll have music from Nick C., the Google tip of the week, and more. That's all up next on EduTech Guys. EduTech Guys Radio, radio.edutechguys.com.
The opinions expressed under the site and its programs are those of the participants and not intended to and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of any specific educational entity, sponsor, company, state, or government agency.
Hello and welcome to EduTech Guys Radio. Good afternoon to you. I'm David Henderson.
Hey, and I'm Jeff Madlock.
Welcome to the show. Thank you guys so much for joining in on a very stormy afternoon here in LA. That would be Lower Arkansas.
You're so silly.
I am. I can't help it. I was born this way, like Lady Gaga.
All I could think as I drove through the 8 feet of water here, got into my canoe, paddled across the small creek, was that April showers bring May flowers.
Oh, that's what you were thinking.
Yeah.
I would have thinking, holy crap, I'm going to drown.
I was paddling in here thinking, if I had a trolling motor, this would go a lot better.
Yes. Absolutely. Oh my gosh, man. Woo.
Luckily, a narwhal went by, grabbed on.
Narwhal.
Hey, listen, check us out on the web, www.edutechguys.com. You can drop down to the bottom of the page and find a little comment area there to reach out. Heck, just go to Google, type in EduTech Guys. You'll find us. Every one of your favorite social media outlets, just put a / in EduTech Guys, and you'll probably find us there. Twitter, Facebook, Google, you name it. That's where we are.
Whoosh.
Yeah. You also catch us with hashtag ETGChat. Please follow us on Twitter. We would like you to find out all the good stuff we like to throw out, and we throw out a lot of stuff.
Yes, we do. We throw out a lot of stuff that probably should have been thrown out. But that's okay. It's all good, man. We're having fun. We are.
Hey, what's happening today?
Speaking of having fun, today is all about gamification and game-based learning and the difference, because yes, there's a difference. However, there are a lot of people who don't know that there's a difference, and they get the two, I don't want to say confused so much as there's a lot of blurred lines going on.
They get them confused?
They do.
Humans are never confused.
Yeah. No, not at all.
How could that happen?
So while we're talking about this, we definitely want you guys to participate. And the easiest way to do that is going to be on Twitter through the hashtag ETGChat. There is also a chat box at radio.edutechguys.com. And I believe our trusty helper in the background, the good Doc Nate, is monitoring that. Unfortunately, we can't monitor that from where we are. Just a weird network thing. But anyway, there it is. So anyhow, let's jump into it, get into this quick. So
okay.
Go ahead. What?
No.
Oh, I forgot.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, no, listen, if you could, give you a second to fire up your Twitter, jump on. We highly recommend using TweetDeck. TweetDeck is a great way if you're doing any EdTech chats or anything like that, especially at night if you're on an EdTech chat with any Twitter chats. You can use TweetDeck to create certain columns to follow those hashtags that you're looking for. So we're going to give you just a second. We're going to drop out to a quick commercial, and we'll be right back after this message.
You're listening to EduTechGuys.com. Don't just listen to us. Bring us into your district today for cool, exciting, professional development. We'll teach you and your students how to take podcasting to the next level and use it to reach your classroom and to reach the world. Reach out to us on Twitter at EduTechGuys or head over to EduTechGuys.com. Scroll down on the page and fill out the form, and we'll be in touch. Bring EduTechGuys to your school.
Awesome. All right. Let's jump in and talk about gamification, game-based learning, what's the difference, and how you can apply them in your classroom to your learning with students and what have you. And like I said, we definitely want to hear from you guys. So reach out to us on Twitter using hashtag ETGChat, and we will follow along with that and hopefully be able to answer questions and address issues and all that fun stuff. So First and foremost, what is gamification? Gamification, and this is kind of a working definition, and this is not like, Webster's dictionary. This is Dave's interpretation. But basically, gamification is when you take elements of gaming and you incorporate those in a non-gaming environment. So that is things like rewards and leveling up and
points.
Yes,
badges.
Exactly. Yes, and competition.
We don't need your stinking badges.
I should have seen that coming.
Sorry, you set me up.
I did, and didn't even realize. So again, there are those different kinds of things, and for example, so you might have certain rules of play involved with setting those things up. An example of an app or a website that a lot of, especially elementary teachers like to use these days is something along the lines of Class Dojo.
Class Dojo.
Right. So you have, if you're not familiar with the Class Dojo, it's a place where you figure out how students earn points. They earn the points, and then they can cash their points in to beef up their avatar, change their avatar, put shoes on it, all kinds of fun stuff. It's not playing games, right? It's taking the learning and adding elements of gaming into that particular learning. And again, earning points and stars and badges and all that kind of stuff. So that's gamification. Game-based learning is taking games and using games in conjunction with the learning. So for example, and this is going to be very rudimentary, but for example, if I'm trying to teach the concept of, I don't know, maybe economics for the lack of better description. I'm trying to teach some very low level economics. I might use something along the lines of Monopoly, okay, or just some other type of game. And it doesn't have to be a board game. I mean, it can be any kind of game. For example, a lot of when Angry Birds was really popular, and a lot of schools were trying to ban students from playing Angry Birds, you had other teachers who were like, wait, we can show all kinds of things. Let's talk about physics and how physics applies to the game. Let's talk about art and how art applies to the game. A lot of the same type of things that are happening with Minecraft in the classroom. That's game-based learning, right? We're learning about these concepts using a game to do it. That's not gamification. Now, they don't have to be mutually exclusive. I could have game-based learning in my classroom, i.e. I'm using Minecraft and we're trying to build, I don't know, a replica of the Amazon jungle or whatever we're learning about in Minecraft using the game to learn. But then also with that, students might earn badges or stars or points or whatever it is in order to achieve certain goals that ultimately lead to some kind of reward. Right. Another example of something similar to kind of gamification, one of the things that we see in a lot of schools, at least in Arkansas, I don't know how widespread it is, I assume it's widespread, but Renaissance Learning Accelerated Reader, where the students are encouraged to read because when they read and pass tests, they get points. And then a lot of schools, what they do is they take the next step and say, okay, once you accumulate so many points, then you can use those points to whatever, buy things or change your avatar or do those types of things.
We've been doing gamification, and just so everybody understands, gamification and game-based learning do not mean they have anything to do with EdTech. Like, we've been doing gamification and game-based learning for a long time.
Right.
Gamification for me as a former band director was you play off your scales and you play off your piece and you get a star and you work your way up the thing, and everybody gets stars on the poster board. Before we had any of this now it would just be you get, the angry trombone dragon on an iPad app, but the sack butt squirrel, but we've been doing this for a long time. And gamification in education is really funny. Think about what kids do when they play school.
Yeah.
There it is. So is playing school gamification or game-based learning? Oh, it's a game. And
that's kind of role playing.
I'm sorry. The doggone chicken and the egg thing there.
Yeah.
No, but that's just so everybody knows. Is not exclusive to EdTech. It's been going on for years,
right?
And I was talking to one of our good buddies earlier today, Drew at NWA 3D, at NWA 3D on Twitter, NWA3D.com. But we were talking about this kind of stuff, and there's a great one now. Let's incorporate makerspace with 3D printing and designing and everything with game-based learning. So, you build you draw or you print a map of the United States. You design it, use Google Maps or whatever you want to do, and then you print objects from different states, the Arch, the Empire State Building, Disney World, and you put them on capitals and main cities and things like that. So you're not only designing and printing a 3D element, then you're putting it on top of that. Now that's game-based learning.
Yes. Well, yeah. In your particular case, you're using a map of the United States as the game board, and then having them print their own design and print their own pieces.
And then we're learning the state capitals, or we're putting a capital on the board, or we're putting Lincoln's birthplace or Washington's cherry tree or Monticello or whatever we want to put out there.
Exactly.
And then, right to history.
Yes. And so that side of it would be the game-based learning. And then if you turn that to get the gamification element out of that, it would be a matter of saying, okay, however many you get right, or however many I don't know, whatever the different goals and objectives are, then you get rewards for achieving those particular goals. There's the gamification side of that. So it's very easy to see why someone can get all the lines blurred and crossed and all that stuff, because they generally are tied to each other. But I don't know. Lately, it just seems like it's been a topic of conversation that I've seen on Facebook, through my timeline, and also in my Twitter feed. In fact, that's kind of what sparked it in the first place. And really, this has nothing to do with education at all. I guess it sort of does. But there was a piece that came across my Twitter feed, and it was about, it said something along the lines of gamification in medicine. And I was like, well, that's interesting. I really hadn't thought of that before. And so I clicked on it, and it wasn't gamification. It was game-based rehabilitation is what they were doing. Basically, not a lot, but there are doctors and hospitals and rehab therapists who are using different games and different elements of games in order to get their patients rehabilitated, either physically, mentally, you name it. That's great. That's game-based learning, game-based rehabilitation. That's all fine. That's not gamification.
Sure.
Until you take that and say, okay, you're playing this game and you're achieving these particular rewards, and because you've achieved these particular rewards, you get something else. Or you accumulate points to get awards, then it's gamification. But they really are, unfortunately, used so interchangeably. And some folks will be like, who cares? What's the difference? To me, the difference is, and why this matters, is because you're getting into the issue of clouding what it is you're doing. I don't know. To me, it's, it's an apple, it's an orange.
Sure.
Call it what it is.
I agree. It's interesting. Just so you know, David's really passionate about this. David's also a gamer.
Other than that, I have no opinion.
Yeah. He's also a gamer. The interesting thing I think it's amazing about this is the interest that gamification does for the classroom element. Because, Facebook started this. Remember when everyone needed so many friends?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they knew that would happen, but that was the gamification of social media. Sure. I've got 490 friends. I've got 3,000 Twitter followers.
Right. Yeah.
That reminds me of my favorite episode of The Big Bang Theory when Sheldon says, 100 Twitter followers, 101. That's one of those. But there's the interesting part, and there's a place for both. And I think David's right. It's easy to take both and tie them together as long as you know the difference between the two. Yeah. That's it. And maybe it's just to make sure that they understand what they're getting into. And don't call it the wrong thing. And make sure that you're using the tool that it needs to be. There's a paring knife for a reason and a butcher knife for the reason.
Exactly.
And so, that's, yes, they can both cut you. Not the gamification and game-based learning can. But, game-based learning, thinking about it and, talking to people about it, there's a really interesting game-based learning. The idea of augmented reality and virtual reality, people think they're games, but that's game-based learning. And that's the way we're going to see it being used in the majority. Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, now I can visit the Taj Mahal, which I've never been to, and put my goggles on and I'm there. But at the same time, if I have to find 7 objects while I'm there, and I'm playing against 10 other people in the room and we're having a treasure hunt, or what is that called? It's a hunt. Scavenger hunt. Yeah, I'm doing a virtual scavenger hunt. Yeah. I'm doing a virtual scavenger hunt. Well, that's game-based learning is what that is. Exactly. So, you got to get those together. So now, and if I win and then I win that and I get a badge, then we gamified that learning. Right. And that's gamification of learning. So I just got a badge and I got 5 points added to my daily participation grade. That's the gamification of game-based learning. Right. Yes.
so everybody clear as mud. Are we good?
Are we good now?
Yeah. Hot diggity. I do. One of our longtime and regular listeners, Mr. Mark Aubrey, said that gamification sounds like it's based in video games rather than old school board games. And you're right. It does sound like that's what it should be, but it doesn't matter. And especially, I don't know. It's one of those things, you add shun to a lot of things and suddenly it's a word that doesn't necessarily mean
how many crossword puzzles did we do in the 70s in grade school that we made ourselves with the spelling words for the week? I mean, how many maker spaces are making games using cardboard and building boards and, using tape there's the other part. How many times did we play math bingo using, rocks that we picked up in the playground?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's game-based learning.
Right.
Now, when you got a star on the wall on your poster board for that week's SRA test or this week's spelling words, or you get points for it, that's gamification. So it can be anywhere. It's any game.
That's right. And if you are with a small group of fellow students and you've been put out into a secluded hallway that has outside access, and you are in that secluded hallway doing your SRA, and one of you leaves and gets donuts for the rest of them and comes back, that's called gaming the system.
What are you talking about? This is how you game the system. That's great.
And I know I don't know that from any experience whatsoever. No,
yeah, you would have never done that. You were a sweet child. Good student.
Yeah, donuts help me get that way.
Hey, I want to thank everybody for, if you could, reach out to us. Hashtag ETG chat or hit us up on Twitter, catch us on Facebook. Let us know what you have to say about gamification and game-based learning. Give us some stuff to talk about here. We like to talk. You realize we could probably talk for 5 days just on game-based learning. And if we got someone in here like Ginger Lumen or Kevin Honeycutt or those folks that are out there, the guys from NWA 3D who are doing this in the makerspaces and in PBL who are, doing the, how long have those folks been making game-based learning part of what they do? Because that's, and if you can't make it fun, then it's just going to be done.
Well, there you go. And if not game-based learning, the gamification of learning.
Yeah, that's it. Cool. Hey, we're going to jump out real quick. And who do we have today for the
artist, the artist of the week this week is Nick C. And we've got the title track from his Living on the Outside album, his EP. And this is Living on the Outside.
When you find you're just a man, afraid of his past, and you've learned it all before, but the lessons didn't last. Why won't for me. How long we stay with me? 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 Spread your wings and fly high above the earth. Take your love and mine, take it all for what it's worth. But how long we stay with me? 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 We stay with me. How long we stay with me? How long we stay with me? How long will you stay with me?
Nick C. on the EduTech Guys come to you live from beautiful Hope, Arkansas. Dark clouds and storms and all.
That's right. That was How Long. I introed the wrong song. That was
No,
my bad.
Jeff picked the wrong song because
I was trying to take the fall, dude.
that's okay. The Living on the Outside is the name of the album. You can check Nick C at nicksea.com.
Yes.
Also find him on Facebook. Great music if you like that stuff, which we do.
We do.
You know what time it is?
Is it really that time?
It's time.
The Google tip of the week.
Today, we actually have 2 Google tips of the week. So I hope that's okay. Just because one of them is just going to send you to a great place for some great information from a great lady who writes a great blog. So the first one though is straight from the Google Education blog. If you're not following the Google Education blog, just look up Google Education blog. They kind of keep you what's going down and tell you what's happening. So just posted today, bringing Alexander Hamilton's history to life. You know, my daughter got to go to New York, my youngest. She loves the musical. And so we got it together, and her grandmother had time to go. And so she and her best friend and her best friend's mom, my grandmother, my mother, her grandmother, went to New York, and she got to see, you know, the best tickets I could afford. Alexander Hamilton, the musical.
Cool. Hamilton.
They love it. They sing the songs to it. You know, that just shows you how education can be stupid fun and history can be fun, and she enjoys it. And everyone knows the popularity of Hamilton, especially since Lin-Manuel Miranda went to the White House, and you know, and boom, he was there, and they had that YouTube of him, you know, performing a piece called the Hamilton Mixtape, which he, you know, did especially for the Obamas and the White House, and what happened right there.
Cool.
So using hip hop and spoken word to tell the story of, you know, the founding father, one of the founding fathers, Alexander Hamilton. Calm down, Jeff. Google Org supported the Hamilton education program. They gave $800,000 grant.
Wow.
That will bring 5,000 students from Title I schools in New York and Chicago and the Bay Area to see the musical. Which is pretty cool, right?
That's very cool.
The Gildner-Lehman Institute of American History is also launching new digital content on Google platforms that enable students around the world to engage more deeply with Alexander Hamilton's story. 6 new virtual reality tours will transport students, teachers, and fans to important places in Hamilton's life, no matter where they live. You can use Google Expeditions. Students can explore places like Alexander Hamilton's home in Uptown Manhattan, Philadelphia's Independence Hall, and the infamous site of Aaron Burr's Alexander Hamilton's duel in Weehawken, New Jersey. Shark bait. Ooh-ah. So It fit in there good, didn't it? Not want a hockaloogie.
There you go.
So, in addition, using Google Arts and Culture, the Gilder Lehman Institute is bringing online dozens of rare archives and artifacts related to Hamilton's era, the early printings of the Constitution, a letter to his wife, all kinds of stuff. All digital exhibits. They're all going to be out there. So this is a great way to find it out. We'll drop out the link to that article so you can find all the links to those places and to that Google expedition so that you can find out more about Alexander Hamilton. It's a good time to get on it. The kids really love it. The musical is very exciting, and it really speaks to this generation, the storytelling and hip hop and verse and everything like that.
Awesome.
So there's my first one. There's number one.
Number one.
Number two.
Numero dos.
Number two is just from one of the hardest working people in online education, Vicki Davis, Cool Cat Teacher.
Cool Cat Teacher.
Yep. She has a great article out there. It's 100+ great Google Classroom resources for educators.
Wow.
And it is. I mean, it's everything you can think of, from blog posts to interviews with experts, to tools that'll help you work with Google Classroom, for assessment, for math, for literature and composition, apps, books, Google Classroom hashtags, Pinterest boards, accounts, people who share about Google Classroom on Twitter. So there's a whole bunch of, she lists all that, graphics, videos, holy smokes.
Holy smokes.
And inside her thing, she even has the 80+ Google Classroom tutorials from Richard Byrne. So on top of that, you get another 80 there. So,
but wait, there's more.
There's more. So, it's a great article. It's just one that I always kind of revert back to when I'm looking for stuff about Google to share with teachers, just to get them interested and excited about Google for education.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is very, very cool.
Hope you like it. Hope everybody out there likes it.
Everybody gonna like it, and we got that tweeted out for you, so we've got the link for you for that, also about the Hamilton information that Jeff just talked about, and want to also give a quick thank you shout out to Ginger Lumen, who is out there listening and sharing all the good stuff, and understand, and we were I don't necessarily want to say corrected, I guess. I don't know, a little more information she provided to us was that she uses gamification not just for learning. So hopefully we maybe we'll have her on to talk some more about that, or she can share some of that, and we'll share some more of the how she's using gamification, not specifically for learning, but in general, and in her, I'm assuming in her professional development and a lot of the cool stuff that she does. And so when we get more information, we will share it out with you guys.
Yeah. And listen, if you're out and about this summer, looking for a conference, looking for a workshop, looking for something to go to, and you want to see us live, here's a few of the places we'll be starting out now. Starting in June 7th through 8th, we'll be in Springdale, Arkansas at the Innovation Institute.
Yeah, that's going to be really cool. That'll be a new one for us. Mm-hmm. We will also be back to the Hot Springs Technology Institute, HSTI, HSTI in Hot Springs, Arkansas. That is the next week, June 12th through the 15th.
And then in July, we are working on this, and it's pretty much a definite, we hope. We'll be at Podstock in Wichita, Kansas, July 12th through the 14th. There will be other places that we will be this summer that you can find us and sit down with us and talk to us live and share your story. You can always share your story with us.
Yes.
Hit our website at edutechguys.appointy.com and sign up for one of our pre-record dates or one of our live shows if it's open. Let us know what you want to do. Reach out to us on Twitter and tell us that, hey, I just signed up. All right. So, great show.
Awesome show.
I had a good time.
I did too. It was very, very cool. Hopefully everyone out there listening, either live now or later through SoundCloud and various other avenues that we send out our podcast. Hopefully you guys picked up some helpful information about gamification, game-based learning, the difference, how it blends together, how they're separate, all that good stuff. Head to edutechguys.com, fill out the form, let us know what you think, give us some feedback, or reach out to us directly on Twitter at EduTechGuys. We'd be happy to hear it.
Bingo. Hey, I'm Jeff Madlock.
I'm David Henderson.
We'll catch you next time.
You've been listening to EduTech Guys Radio, radio.edutechguys.com.
The opinions expressed on the site and its programs are those of participants and not intended to and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of any specific educational entity, sponsor, company, state, or government agency.